and comment to the page. Well, we have a great show for you today with an author, the dog whisperer Cesar Millan, and a dog rescue organization. But up first, we have Dr. Kevin Sabet, co-founder of SAM, which stands for Smart Approaches to Marijuana. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I wasn't sure if I was the dog whisperer or which one I was on that. But
You are a jack of all trades.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
Yes, of course. All right, so tell me about SAM.
Sure. Thank you. Well, SAM stands for Smart Approaches to Marijuana. I was a graduate of UC Berkeley, so go Bears. And after that, I went to work at the White House, and I worked for President Obama for the first 2.5 years at the Office of National Drug Control Policy. And after sort of seeing how the drug policy debate was sort of evolving in this country, I realized that there was this false dichotomy out there, false choice, basically saying that we either have to legalize drugs, including marijuana, or we have to lock people up in prison and have a war on drugs and incarceration. And I felt like with marijuana, we were sort of devolving into this all or nothing. You know, billboards selling pot, gummy bears, or locking people up in prison, especially people of color. And I sort of said there's got to be a better way than either of those two things. We need a smart approach that looks at the lessons from the tobacco era. You know, we had legalized tobacco for a long time, and we were sort of had a massive industry, and we learned from that. And also lessons from not wanting to go overboard in a war on drugs, because we have put too many people in prison. There are too many people criminalized. And so we wanted to have a smart approach. And so I approached a Democrat and a Republican in Washington, Congressman Patrick Kennedy, the son of Ted Kennedy,
sure,
who made mental health his kind of main issue. And for him, it was a slam dunk. He said, I can't support mental health and also marijuana. It doesn't make any sense. So he came on board, and then we got some other folks and scientists, and we started SAM.
Wow. And it's been around for a while, for a few years
We
now.
launched actually basically the day after Colorado and Washington voted for legalization, because it was clear that there was this discussion going on without more of a moderate voice that was saying, look, do we really want to bring back big tobacco? Let's go slow on this. If we're going to do it, let's figure things out. But why would we want to do it if it's going to be copying the tobacco industry?
And of course, everyone's talking about marijuana right now, ahead of the election in California. It's a big election.
It is. I mean, I never thought I'd say it. Prop 64 in California sort of makes Colorado look like, I mean, Saudi Arabia or something. I mean, it makes Colorado look very conservative, the way they've written Prop 64. And I'm not so when I looked at who wrote Prop 64, it's all the Silicon Valley folks who want to make money off of this. And so I tell people, you know, this isn't about marijuana, this is about money. And I just think that if you're going to legalize marijuana, let's go through the legislature, let's do it in a more careful way. Prop 64 really, I find it pretty reckless. And that's why SAM, our advocacy arm, SAM Action, has been one of the biggest donors against Prop 64.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your background.
Sure.
You talked about working in the Obama administration, but then you stepped down.
Yeah.
What, 2 years in?
It's a long time. You know, the average Politico there is about 18 months. But I was a little more than 2 years, and I worked for the Bush administration for a year, and then I actually worked in the Clinton administration while I was at Berkeley for about 6 months. So I sort of 6 months with Clinton, a year with Bush, 2.5 with Obama. I just felt like there were so many things I could do outside of government, like SAM and the other work I do in academic work and writing, that, you know, we had a very exciting time in the beginning of the Obama administration. I mean, I remember that inauguration. I mean, I don't care if you were Republican, Independent, Green. There was so much jubilation and excitement. It was
history was made.
History was made. It didn't matter what party. It was such an exciting time to be there, and I was so honored to be asked to help write the national drug strategy for the country. We were going to go towards a public health message rather than just a law enforcement message. So, you know, really bringing all safety, health together. And it was a great time to be there. But, you know, by mid-2011, end of 2011, I sort of felt like it was time to move on.
It was time to go. All right. Unfortunately, it's time for us to go.
Yes, I'm sorry about that, too.
But thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Michelle. It was a real pleasure to be here.
All right. For more information about SAM, just log on to learnaboutsam.org. Again, that's learnaboutsam.org. Coming up, author Pepper Harding.